Welcome to the Salem Witch Hunt Daily Report for June 28, 2024. I'm Josh Hutchinson. On June 28, 1692, the court of Oyer and Terminer once again met at the Salem townhouse. The grand jury indicted Sarah Good on 3 counts for afflicting Sarah Bibber, Elizabeth Hubbard, and Ann Putnam Jr., and the case moved on to trial. Johanna Chilton claimed Sarah Good had killed a child whose ghost had visited Chilton along with Sarah Good's specter. William Batten, Deborah Shaw, and William Shaw testified against Sarah Good, claiming that spectral Good had bound Susanna Sheldon's hands with strings so tight it had to be cut off. They also testified about a broom mysteriously placed in a tree twice, a shirt treated in the same manner, and a milk tube carried into the woods by invisible hands. Sarah Bibber claimed Sarah Good's specter afflicted a child. Bibber also said on May 2nd, 1692, the apparition of Sarah Good did most grievously torment me by pressing my breath almost out of my body, and also she did immediately afflict my child by pinching of it that I could hardly hold it, and my husband, seeing of it, took hold of the child, but it cried out and twisted so dreadfully by reason of the torture that the apparition of Sarah Good did afflict it with, all that it got out of its father's arms, too. Also, several times since, the apparition of Sarah Good has most grievously tormented me by beating and pinching me and almost choking me to death and pricking me with pin after a most dreadful manner. Sarah and Thomas Gage claimed that Sarah Good muttered after they'd had a disagreement, and the next morning one of their cows was dead. Mary Herrick and Joseph Herrick Sr. said that on March 1st, Joseph was ordered to put Sarah Good under guard in his own house for the night, with 3 men assigned to guard her. They told him that she had left during the night barefoot and bare-legged. Supposedly, Samuel Sibley was with Elizabeth Hubbard that same night when she complained of Sarah Good coming to her barefoot and bare-legged. Samuel struck Good's arm, and in the morning Sarah Good was found to have a cut on her hand in real life. A note on the back of this document indicates that Samuel Sibley and 2 of the men assigned to guard Good were to be brought in to testify in court. Susanna Sheldon testified that Sarah Good's specter had bound her hands with a wheel band on June 26th, and that Good has most grievously tortured me by biting, pinching, and almost choking me to death. While giving this testimony, Susanna went into a fit and then said Sarah Good's specter had attacked her. Mary Warren also reportedly fell victim to this specter, and then the specter took a saucer off the table and carried it outside, where it was soon found. Mary Walcott said that she had often seen Sarah Good among the witches that afflicted her, and a list of witnesses against Good also includes William Allen, John Hughes, Samuel Braybrook, Mercy Lewis, Abigail Williams, Elizabeth Hubbard, Ann Putnam, Richard Patch, and Tituba. This testimony, which included Tituba's confession, had been prepared earlier and was read before the jury and sworn to by the witnesses. The same day, James Howe Sr. made a statement for Elizabeth Howe. Testimony against Tituba and testimony for Elizabeth Howe was recorded by the court. Rebecca Nurse suggested that she and the other suspected women should be re-examined for witches' marks by a more experienced jury of women, which would include Mrs. Woodbury, Mrs. Higginson, Mrs. Buckstone, and Mrs. Porter. Mary Bradbury of Salisbury was arrested on witchcraft charges. Through marriage, Bradbury was related to the Buss, Nurse, Bishop, Estey, Wilds, and Cloyce families, who also had members accused of witchcraft in 1692. And Bradbury's husband was a militia captain. A constable arrested Sarah Davis on June 28th. In 1682, she had been arrested in Haverhill for fornication with Nathaniel Oyer, brother-in-law of the supposedly bewitched Timothy Swan. Sarah was fined 50 shillings at that point for fornicating, and Nathaniel was ordered to pay child support. Now, June 28, 1692, the General Court established a General Sessions of the Peace Court for each county. Isaac Cummings Jr. testified against Elizabeth Howe. Stephen Sewell summons witnesses against John Willard and Martha Carrier. And in Connecticut, Catherine Branch claimed she was afflicted by Elizabeth Clausen. That night, Branch was supposedly afflicted by specters of Mercy Disborough, Goody Miller, Mary Staples, and Elizabeth Clausen. 4 years later, June 28, 1696, Samuel Parris finally preached for the last time in Salem Village. Thank you for tuning in to today's Salem Witch Hunt Daily Report. Have a great today and a beautiful tomorrow.